Thanks, Senator Smith. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana is recognized for 5 minutes.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
You used to be a member of a group called the Young Communist, didn't you?
Senator, are you referring to my membership in the Youth Communist Organization while I was growing up in the Soviet Union?
I don't know. I wanted to ask you that question.
Well, Senator,
There was a group called the Young Communists, and you were a member. Is that right?
I'm not exactly sure which group you're referring to.
Well, the formal name of it is the Leninist Communist Young Union of the Russian Federation, and it's also known as the Leninist Komsomol of the Russian Federation, and it's commonly referred to as the Young Communists. Were you a member?
Senator, I was born and grew up in the Soviet Union.
Yes, ma'am. But were you a member of that organization?
Everybody in that country was a member of the Komsomol, which was the Communist Youth Organization, because
you were a member?
That was a part of normal progress in school.
Have you resigned
from the youth?
From the Young Communists?
You grow out of it with age, automatically.
Did you send them a letter though, resigning?
Senator, this was many, many years ago. As far as I remember, how the Soviet Union worked was at certain age you automatically stop being a member of that.
Could you look at your records and see if you can find a copy of your
Senator Kennedy, I don't interrupt. I almost never interrupt these, but
you always interrupt me, Mr.
No, actually, I don't. Not nearly as many times as I'd like to.
No,
she renounced her Soviet citizenship.
Well, I understand that, but you're not the witness. She is. Would you look at your records and see if you can find a letter of resignation for me?
Senator, as I explained, I was part of the Soviet population.
Yes, ma'am. I got that part. I just want to see if you look at your records and see if you find a letter of resignation. Let me tell you, I've spent a lot of time on your record, and here's what I found. Look, this is America. You can believe what you want, but we can't just let anybody be controller of the currency. You wrote your thesis in college at Moscow State University the title was Karl Marx's Economic Analysis and the Theory of Revolution in the Capital. But you won't send Senator Toomey a copy.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a Senate hearing clip that's taken the internet by storm. Senator John Kennedy grilled a nominee for the U.S. Comptroller of the Currency with questions that left everyone talking. Was it fair? What's the truth behind these allegations? Let's unravel this together. Buckle up, this is one wild ride. First, let's set the stage. This exchange happened during a Senate confirmation hearing for a nominee with a fascinating background. Born in the Soviet Union, the nominee has faced intense scrutiny over her academic and ideological history. But was this fair game or a political spectacle? Let's explore. Senator Kennedy pulled no punches. He questioned her involvement in the Soviet Youth Organization, her academic thesis on Karl Marx, and her more recent work suggesting reforms to the banking system. These points were presented as evidence of a potentially radical agenda. But here's the catch: context is everything. In a calm yet poignant response, the nominee painted a very different picture. She highlighted her family's suffering under communism and her pride in becoming an American citizen. Her most powerful moment? Reminding everyone that she couldn't choose where she was born, but she could choose her values, and those values are deeply American. So what does this exchange really tell us? It's a clash of perspectives, a lawmaker pushing hard for transparency versus a nominee defending her integrity. It raises questions about how much a person's past should matter, especially when shaped by circumstances beyond their control. Is it political theater or a valid line of questioning? That's for you to decide.
Send Senator Toomey a copy. You studied at Moscow State University, scientific communism, which is the science regarding the working class struggle and the socialist agenda. In 2019, not 30 years ago, In a Canadian documentary, you called the financial services industry, quote, a quintessential asshole industry. You wrote a paper called Systemically Significant Prices, calling for the federal government to set wages, food, gas prices. In 2020, you wrote a paper called The People's Ledger, where you said we need to abolish bank accounts and make everybody set up an account at the Fed where the federal government will have access to your data. In 2020, you wrote another paper called The Climate Case for a National Investment Authority, where you said what we need to do, the oil and gas industry, is have the federal government bankrupt them so we can tackle climate change. In 2019, you joined a Facebook group, a Marxist Facebook group, to discuss socialist and anti-capitalist views. Now, that's what I see from your record, and you have the right to believe every one of these things. You do. This is America. But I don't mean any disrespect. I don't know whether to call you professor or comrade.
Senator, I'm not a communist. I do not subscribe to that ideology. I could not choose where I was born. I do not remember joining any Facebook group that subscribes to that ideology. I would never knowingly join any such group. There is no record of me ever actually participating in any Marxist or communist discussions of any kind. My family suffered under the communist regime. I grew up without knowing half of my family. My grandmother herself escaped death twice under the Stalin regime. This is what's seared in my mind. That's who I am. I remember that history. I came to this country. I'm proud to be an American. And this is why I'm here today, Senator. I'm here today because I'm ready for public service.